So here we are back at it again for part 11 of The Steelers Suck. And this one's going to be one of the ones I've been waiting to do. How piss poor drafting has killed us. Alright, so it's pretty clear that since the 2018 draft, this team has drafted extremely poorly. Right? And that 2018 draft class is, until I saw this year's draft class, that was easily the worst draft class we've had in a long time. Right, so let's see. So I'm coming a little hot with this one. So remember when we drafted, Terrell Edmunds in the first round? That was so big of a reach that Terrell Edmunds was literally in the bathroom taking a piss because he did not think anybody would be dumb enough to even select him in the first round. And while we did need a safety or a corner going into that draft, we took one in the first round, but we took one that was a day 2 or day 3er. That's what we did. And the rest of the draft class was just so garbage, Chusa Okorafor. I can't even remember all the names, and I don't care to remember it either. Because it was a horrible draft class for us. It really was. And then the next year, 2019, we trade up to draft Devin Bush. And while he was doing okay before the injury that he had against Cleveland in 2020 when we blew him out 38-7, the guy never recovered ever since then, and he turned out to be a draft bust. And to say the least, we took the wrong Devin. We should have took Devin White, but instead we took Devin Bush. So 2019 was also not a good draft for us either. And then of course, let's see. So in 2020 we draft. All because we traded our 2020 first round pick in desperation for Minkah Fitzpatrick in 2019, when we should have been taking instead. By the way, Minkah Fitzpatrick sucks now. We all see that. So we took Chase Claypool, who is no longer on the team. And of course, we unfortunately learned the hard way that Notre Dame receivers never pan out. They don't. In the NFL, they always flop. And of course, I remember, let's see, who else did we take? We took Alex Highsmith, which Highsmith, he's okay, I guess, But yeah, so 2020 was a mad draft class there. And let's see. And then 2021 draft, we took Najee Harris in the first round. While we did need a running back, usually everyone likes to say that it's usually not a good idea to draft a running back in the first round. And now here's the thing with Najee Harris. Yes, he had a good stiff arm and a good hurdle, but the problem is the guy just can't read holes. And that's why I kind of understand why we chose not to hang on to him. And now he's with the Chargers. But then the next draft pick after that, and I got so much heat from my fan base for this. We took Pat Freiermuth, a tight end that we actually could have waited to get, by the way. We took him over Creed Humphrey when we needed a center bad. And you see, a big part on why our drafting over the years has been so bad, especially in the late 2010s and the 2020s. You see, a big part of this is because we constantly ignore our needs. And I continue to get dumbass Steelers fans tell me, oh, but you don't always draft on need. Sometimes you draft best player available. But you see, here's the thing. Drafting best player available, you see, that's usually only for championship contenders or for teams that need everything. But instead, you see, with us trying to, we went into 2021, even after that loss to the Browns in the playoffs, we tried to go in there and do what we could and be as competitive as we possibly could. Of course, dog barking outside. But anyways, you see, like constantly ignoring our needs when we were trying to take the next step from being a playoff contender to a stronger playoff contender or whatever. It's like this team has just continuously done a piss poor job at drafting, mainly because they just don't know how to address their needs. They always go for what they want rather than what they need. And guess who got Creed Humphrey? That's right, Kansas City. And that's all because, because Kansas City, they needed to address their O-line after what we saw in Super Bowl 55. And they did just that with Creed Humphrey. And we could have gotten Humphrey before them. But, Kansas City, not only do they draft, not only do they play better than we do, not only do they coach better than we do, but they draft way better than we do. They are well more managed than we are. But yeah, so 2021 was also not that good of a draft class either. We really fucked up with that Pat Freiermuth pick, because Pat Freiermuth isn't even that good. Yeah, he's serviceable at times, but he also drops too many passes. The guy's just overrated. But, move! Fuck out of here. And of course, let's see, 2022 draft. We drafted Kenny Pickett, which was one of the biggest mistakes we've ever made in a draft. Now, I will admit, I originally wanted him because I thought he could maybe pan out with us, but I was really wrong right there, and the front office unfortunately pandered to the dumbasses like me that originally wanted Pickett. Not only that, but drafting Pickett set us back for a long time. Then the round after that, we draft George Pickens. And while Pickens is a good player, now he's on the Cowboys. We draft. You see, there's a reason why teams did not want him. Number one, it was because of his injury that he suffered in his last year in college. But the main reason was this, because he was a head case. But we drafted him anyway, and we got rid of him because he was a head case. And of course, 2023, we draft Joey Porter Jr. While we did need a corner, here's the problem. We only drafted him because of who his dad is, and because his dad played for us. And yes, I get a lot of hate from my fan base for saying that Porter Jr. is an overrated scrub, and he's no better than Artie Burns. He gets beat on in and out, on short in and out routes. Too many penalties as I always beat him up for. And the guy talks all this shit as if he's some top 3 corner, when in reality the guy sucks. And don't give me this shit about, but he hasn't allowed a touchdown yet. Wanna know why that is? Because he always tackles the fucking receiver before the ball even gets there. Porter Jr. sucks. He does. So yeah, that was a mistake. And of course, 2024, once again, we failed to address our need at corner and safety. Because why do you think, over the years, we're always talking about how we need a corner, a safety? Even when we draft one of those two, they always fail. Because this team just doesn't know how to evaluate talent. They can't draft worth a damn. And it's all in all, I mean, this team they draft so poorly, and we're just so awful at drafting corners and safeties. I mean, my God. And not only that, we also ignore the fact that our middle linebacking core got ran over by Derrick Henry twice in Baltimore. One in December, the other the wild card round in January. Even after seeing that, we don't even draft a middle linebacker. after seeing just how pathetic and how much of a sitting duck Patrick Queen was in both of those games, especially the wild card. But yeah, it's like, this team has just failed to address their needs. They haven't done well with that at all. And, we've not only struggled to find our successor to Big Ben since his retirement, and a big part of that is because, this team refuses to tank. And of course, it's like, you see, like, whether you're a positive Steelers fan, negative Steelers fan, realistic Steelers fan, whether you're a fan of my team or not, can we all agree that this team is just mismanaged? Can we all agree on that? This team cannot draft worth a shit, and all in all, they are ran poorly. And you want to know who's been making these draft picks for us for the most part over the past 7-8 years? Mike Tomlin. We want to know how I can easily prove that? It's simple. Because we keep making the same mistake, from Kevin Colbert to now Omar Khan. From 2018 to present, we keep making the same draft mistakes over and over. Not addressing our needs, going for who we want, and even when we do address our draft needs, it's always the wrong type of player. It's always a player that we just horrendously reached for. Like, we might be the worst drafting team in the league. Because, like I said earlier, we always go for who we want rather than who we need. Stop picking favorites and start picking out something that will actually help this team. And get a front office in there that knows how to draft, knows how to scout talent. Because the piss poor drafting has killed us. It has kept us in mediocrity. We have not been able to even come anywhere remotely close to even being able to win a playoff game. Okay, forget Super Bowls altogether. We are not even in the same galaxy as that. But with all that being said, that'll pretty much do it for this video. As I think we are by far, maybe not by far though, I do think we are definitely the worst drafting team in the league. This team is so mismanaged, it ain't even fucking funny. But anyways, I'm out. Oh, and I'm not looking forward to the 2026 draft just because, it's in Pittsburgh. No, not going to look forward to that just for that reason. I'm out.